Good for you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We'll allow another minute for the notifications to go out.
I'm on my phone, so I can't see any comments. So if there's anything, let me know.
We'll let you know. Hey, everybody.
My email is on my phone, so that's why I'm going this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's I need to get my email set up on my laptop, so I won't have to do that. But yeah.
Hey, Psalm 146 Home and Garden. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, as you guys were saying, Gail, you were talking about your garden. So everyone who's joining for the replay and in the chat, we have Gail Southern Living with us today. And I'll let you reintroduce yourself in a little bit. But you've been working on your garden, and you said you've got your lettuce and marigold started. How many germination days are lettuce and marigold offhand?
Golly, it's got to be less than 2 weeks, because I planted one and a week later I planted the other one, and there's already like 6 or 8 in one pot, and I just planted the other one. Well, actually, it must just be really quickly, because I literally planted one a few days ago that's already coming up. So
awesome.
I'm thinking it's just a few days on that, but
cool.
But they're in a pot above, off the ground, so maybe that makes a bit of a difference. And I have tons of lettuce, but this actually is the time for us to plant lettuce in Texas Zone 8A. This is actually the time for that. My sage I have from last year, I planted a cilantro in January, and it's tall. Like I could go harvest off of that, and then I have a few more coming up.
Awesome.
No sign of carrots though yet that I can tell.
Real quick, hello, Gear Gryden 19. Good to see you. A homesteading hustle. Thank you for coming in. Hey, hunting and stuff with J&J and my Renaissance grandma. Welcome, welcome. Vineyard Chicks. Hello, good to see you. Guys did a great job last night.
Hey, everybody. I miss their lives because they're at night.
Me too. I guess I don't know when their normal live is.
I
get lucky and hit on them. I don't know when anybody's actually is.
Yeah. And nobody gets notifications anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And I know with the time change, we're out feeding. So, because I try to do it later when it's lighter out longer. So guys, I just want to let you guys know, we haven't had water since Sunday night, and I've got plumbers here looking at the well. So if I suddenly disappear, I'm dealing with plumbers, but I'll be back, just so you guys all know. Because they showed up just before we went live.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're there, Lisa. How have you been?
I'm glad they're here too. And
with no water, with all the animals.
I was really pleased, I have to say. They came right away yesterday when we called in the morning and did some diagnostic testing and determined that it was probably the pump or electric to the pump. So they had to pull different guys off of another job. And then, so they're here today now looking into that. But I got to tell you, the guy who came yesterday was very interested in my freeze dryer. So I made him my new best friend by giving him some freeze-dried goodies to convince his wife.
Okay.
Awesome.
The same issue that we've been having, Sarah. Our neighbor had some broken pipes, and it's just the residual leftover from that. It seems the well pump now has officially died, and probably because it ran a bunch of times for long extended periods when he had frozen pipes. So we are working to get that fixed now and hoping to put on what they call a pump saver. I think it's what they call it. So basically the pump will stop running when it detects that it's running too long. So it's worth that extra money to not burn it out. So we're just waiting to hear what they say, because they're pulling
out. 9 p.m.
Vineyard Chicks schedule Mondays 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
But thankful we have.
Head toward the bedroom to watch a TV show before we go to bed.
Yep.
Usually like Seventh Heaven or something like that. We watch right. Because he'll be having me watch forensic stuff, and that'll creep me out. So then I have to purify my brain with a little seventh heaven before I go to bed, so.
Yeah, I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
But we're lucky to have access to water for the animals, so we're good. I go to town and I get water for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're prepared if you run out of water. You're prepared to be able to get by for a couple or several days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all winter long we've been hauling from town because we have a pump, because a lot of people who have cisterns here haul their own water, all their water.
Mm-hmm.
So we just go to town, get some town water, and I put it in the truck enough for everybody. And I do it every other day because it's cold, so the water stays good. Yeah. But we're good.
Yeah, we actually I had a jug of water. It was actually cat litter. You know how it comes in the jug thing? Well, I fill it up with water just for toilet flushing. And something happened. I was out of town with my mom and it froze or something. And he had to actually use that water. So I was like, okay, let me fill that thing back up because you never know when that's going to happen again. Yep. But then I have all the other stuff marked as drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I reach out whatever container I'm going to put it in, and I have little bits of water here and there, and then I'll use them once in a while and then restock with fresh, because the plastic, like if you're putting in plastic, that plastic will leach out into it eventually. So I think you're only supposed to keep it in that for like a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom, it's funny you mentioned the toilet water. My mom had non-stop jugs down the basement, and I always laughed at her, but she was so ahead of her time because they all said toilet water. So if you walked in her basement, it was like, you were like, what is wrong with the toilets in this house? But she had shelves and shelves of it. And that's what we do, is whatever water we don't use that we haul from town, we don't drink it, but we'll use it for washing and stuff. And then we we'll pour it in the toilets as well.
Yep, we do the same. We keep jugs of water, and then we have a Berkey, and we'll also keep like a 5-gallon, water jug of water, and that one will be filtered water, so it's just easy, handy, accessible.
Gotcha.
We also have problems with our water in this little bitty city sometimes, so we have to keep drinking water on hand.
Yeah,
because we actually drink a lot of water in our house. We don't drink sodas all the time, or even tea. Like we don't even between the two of us, we can't drink a pitcher of tea before it gets yucky. So we usually only do that when with daughters are here. So
yeah. Everybody, prepare your water. You never know. Real quick, I want to say I want to say hi and welcome to Mandalee Cards and More, Ariel Viking Venture and Victuals. Good to see you all. Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Welcome, welcome. Am I missing anybody? Thank you all for coming in today. Today we've got Gail Southern Living, Gail with Gail Southern Living, joining us. So welcome, Gail. Good to see you. So Gail, I know one of the things I wanted to hear about what was going on with you is all about your garden, but I don't know if anybody here doesn't know Gail's Southern Living, but for those that don't, do you want to share with everyone a little bit about your channel? And she actually has 2 channels, so share the other one also.
On the other channel, I mostly do crafts, and I do a little bit of couponing on that channel as well. On this channel, I do cooking, gardening, a little bit of prepping. What did I miss? Cooking. Oh, chickens. And I show my chickens sometimes. So I have brand new baby chicks. I got 6 brand new baby chicks. I got 3 Wyandottes and 3 golden sexlings.
And they are so cute.
Our flock. We had 11 and now we have 6 new ones. So that makes our flock 17.
Awesome.
Wow. That's awesome. I saw your baby chicks.
Yeah.
We got nervous because of the chicken situation, because Chick Days still is kind of starting here. It's not in full swing, another week or so. And so as a backup, we ordered 50 meat birds, and they won't come till July 11th.
Holy smokes.
I ordered them a week ago.
5-0 or 1-5?
5-0.
Oh my goodness.
Well, hey,
You can be
like
busy.
chicken,
Mhm.
and especially
Mhm.
homegrown. And while I was
Yeah.
at it, of course, I had to pad the bill, as my mom used to say.
Mhm.
I bought 5 French copper Morans.
Oh my goodness.
I've been wanting them so bad, and they say it's better to get them from a private, buy eggs for hatching so you can
Mhm.
incubate them because they're darker.
Yeah.
Do you know how much those are?
No. And I'm wondering I would imagine they're copper. I'm not sure what that chicken looks like.
$50, and there's no guarantees for 6 eggs.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I said, I'm going to pay the price and get chicks that are live.
Wow.
And go with that. But
Mhm.
I don't stock for
Yeah.
poofy eggs, but
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
I do producers because we sell
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
But that's the
I
biggest
think,
thing was I
and
wanted them so bad.
yes.
We
And
actually sell our eggs. My husband sells them at his job.
Yeah.
So we keep egg cartons. I actually have a neighbor, and we have a bartering system. He brings me his egg cartons, and I give him free eggs once in a while. So we have a little
Nice.
bartering
I
system.
have a question. Have you guys ever tried to mail eggs, like dozens of eggs? I have. What is it? Should I stop there?
Yeah. Let's talk after.
Okay.
Because mailing eggs, the only time that you're allowed to mail eggs
Really?
is if you're NPIP certified.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yes.
Even to send them to family?
Well, I had friends who needed turkey eggs
Uh-huh.
for a diet.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Okay, but what if they're not like fertilized?
Oh, then you should be good.
Yeah.
They're going to cost you a lot of money to send, though.
I was thinking of getting a USPS flat rate box.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have someone in Arizona who wants me to ship her eggs, and she's willing to pay for shipping and $3 a dozen because regular eggs in Arizona are $8 a dozen right now.
Wow.
Nothing fancy, like plain old eggs.
Huh.
So it's
I
worth
just
it.
raised mine from $3 to $4, and I didn't know how my customers would feel about that, but they're all fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
We just
I have
recently
one that
moved to
gives me
4
5,
and 5.
just because she thinks it's worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, we did that because our customers kept shoving extra money at us
Mm-hmm.
because they were like, "You need to charge more," and we were like, "No, we're
Yeah, I
good."
was kind of reluctant about it, but all the talk about the eggs price raising, I finally went up to 4. So
Yeah. Real quick, I want to welcome in Templin Acres. Thank you for coming. David Gray, good to see you. And Ark Wildman Survival and Good Eats Homestead. Thank you all so much for coming in. Good to see you, Ark. 5 eggs and bacon for brunch. That is a meal.
Yeah,
I don't think
turkey.
I could eat
Some
that
people
much.
eat turkey eggs. They love them. I have not eaten one yet.
I haven't tried turkey or
You
duck
have?
eggs.
I haven't
or-
either. I have to tell you, our meat birds, so obviously we've had baby chicks before. We used to have a lot of chickens, but meat birds, these baby chicks that haven't grown in their feathers, it's like raising baby Huey. It's like the baby Huey of baby chickens. They're huge. And they're not quite ready to go outside yet, but they're ginormous.
I didn't think I was going
How
to get
many do you
baby
have?
chicks this year
We have 10. So
because they had so many. Every time we went, they were out every time. And my husband knows the manager, and the manager told me one day, he's like, "Oh, we usually get them on Thursday." So I went there Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, and he said, "Okay, well, we got to do our 30 minutes where they have to wait in the back before they put them out on the floor." And so I was second in line. So that was good.
That's great. There was a big line for them.
There was one lady in front of me and me. That's it. But I think he didn't tell everybody what day they normally get chicks. I think he only told me because he knows he used to work with my husband. So I think I got the inside scoop, which doesn't usually happen. I don't usually get any kind of favoritism on anything, but he happens to know my husband. So he told me, and I was there on that day, and boom, there they were. So I was very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
They're
Our
going
Tractor
fast.
Supply they started end of February and they were sold out pretty quickly, but they never get a lot because I don't buy my birds from there. I get them from a place called Runnings because they have a very large selection. But because what we need, I think we decided 10 or 12 more we're going to get. And so I may end up canceling the Morans if we get everything locally, but I just wanted to have a backup plan, and like Gear Gryden said, at least if the meat birds come July 11th, they would be done before the cold weather. Because you don't want to process when it's hot.
This was a French Moran, but that's the one that got killed with the raccoons.
Oh, okay. Darn things.
So you don't want to process birds while it's hot, just because you've got the meat that you're dealing with. You want it to stay cool. Is that why?
Well, the hotter it is, the more flies you have.
Oh gosh.
And you don't want flies landing on the meat. Like we're very conscious about food safety. And so we try to process when it's cooler. So we try to do it in the spring or in the fall. So this will be like almost fall. It'll be like September. But that's why we put that metal awning because it serves a lot of purposes. One of it is because we have that older diesel truck to protect it from hail because we get huge hail here, and we're going to come out of winter and go right into hail season. So, but the other thing we do is we pull the truck out of there, and that's where we process to keep the sun and the rain off of us so we can keep going. I mean, if we needed to, we could process right here. It's just really messy. I don't want to do it in the house.
Yeah.
I watched the video of you guys doing that one time. I think it was like a year or two ago. It's been a while.
Yeah. I don't film it every year, but last year we did like turkeys and pheasants. So, but we've got.
I watched it 1 year.
I need to go back and watch that.
Good to the point where like we've got a system now, and it makes it a lot easier. One thing
I'm
I do
actually
recommend.
going on 3 years on YouTube. Can you believe that?
What's that?
In August will be 3 years on YouTube.
Wow.
Time flies.
It's crazy.
I'm shocked. So I was like, that video was probably 2 years ago. That's what I was thinking. Maybe 2 years ago.
I know.
But I remember I watched it. I remember you guys, you were outside. You were in a covered area. You had tables set up everywhere. And
one thing I will say is for folks that are processing chickens, especially if you're processing a bulk amount, one thing that we have found is a cut-proof glove. I know your granddaughter's got them in their little kitchen kits, but
that's what
seriously,
was going on.
A cut-proof glove is really helpful because you're sitting there and you're trying to just move and get done, because like we've done 30 or so in a day. And even when you're doing 10, like you're trying to get moving. For us, it's only 2 of us. The cut-proof glove is great because there's no slips. You hit it with a knife, you're not going to hurt yourself. And it's not because we're not paying attention. It's just the reality of it is you're moving right along.
Yeah.
So it helps big time.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something that we can say on YouTube, but I'm curious about the dispatching methods that people use. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Well, it's not like livestock in where you would use a mechanically fired item. You're simply using a blade.
Okay. And
I mean, from an educational standpoint, you are using a knife that is extremely sharp.
Okay.
Are those videos monetizable?
I monetize them, but you cannot show the act.
Mm-hmm.
The acts.
No,
No, the act
the
of doing
act
it.
of
Oh, the act
dispatching.
of it. Okay.
So what
So,
I, yeah, so you have a cut, you have a cone,
uh-huh. Okay.
you have a metal cone. Some people
Uh-huh.
use other things like a traffic cone
Uh-huh.
upside down on a tree.
Okay.
We bought an extra large cone, and I'm trying to be really careful, but
Yeah.
just tell me to stop,
No,
Cami.
you're fine.
So you have a cone,
Mm-hmm.
and the bird goes in upside down.
Okay, so you hang them by their feet.
No, you put
No?
them head first.
Okay.
So the cone is here.
Uh-huh.
All right, here. Here's the cone.
Okay.
So it's tapered.
Uh-huh.
So actually, it would be like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
The head goes in,
Uh-huh.
and you have to hold the head,
Okay.
and then carotid artery.
Okay. What
Which
about
is
the Okay, so don't
buckets
they
underneath.
but what about the body? That's good. Don't they go to running around? I'm thinking of the old
No, no, no,
saying.
no, no.
They don't?
So the way we do it is Ryan dispatches,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I usually have my hand holding the legs
Okay.
because sometimes the twitching causes them to come out.
Uh-huh.
So I hold the legs
Uh-huh.
until it stops.
Okay.
And below the cone,
Uh-huh.
we use 5-gallon buckets with a
Okay.
garbage bag.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why is the garbage bag makes for easy cleanup.
Okay.
And then
Do they bleed a
everything
lot
we
during the
touch
process?
gets bleached before, during, and after.
Okay.
What's that, Gail?
Do they bleed a lot during that part of the process?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was going to say they would because of the carotid.
Mm-hmm.
When you do multiple,
Mm-hmm.
you it's not like you have a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just reality.
Thanks for coming, Looky Lou Crafts.
I
I
think I'm
can't
sending people out.
I know. She's
I
probably
mean-
like, oh, I didn't want to hear all that.
Yeah. So
I
some
wanted
people,
to know though.
yeah, some people want to use shavings. We just use a bag because we
Mhm.
you have to make sure that you dispose of everything when you're done.
Yeah.
It has to be gone
Yeah.
because you'll attract animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we have a place that we can dump it in a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do when we're all done. But the other thing is feed bags. Empty
Uh-huh.
feed bags are also a great way to dispose of things
Okay.
because
Thank
they're
you for
thicker.
that. We've been with the meat birds, I mean, it's 8 weeks. It's such a short time. And our meat birds we're going to have had them for 3 weeks as of Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So, if you think about that, like we're so close. So we've started discussions on who's going to do what. I'm
Well,
not doing that part.
Don't
Yeah.
That's going to be the guys, but
don't freak out about that time frame.
mm-hmm.
Don't process too early because the reality of it is
Good to know.
there's nothing worse than raising a chicken that long and it's your meat, and then you get done and you're like, great, it's 2 pounds.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a waste of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that you're looking for monsters,
Mm-hmm.
but especially your first batch, you're going to make mistakes, and that's
Mhm.
normal. And we butchered too early.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest weighing a 5-gallon pail and then putting a chicken in the 5-gallon pail,
Uh-huh.
and then looking up online how much the difference is between live weight and processed.
Okay.
So that way you can determine how big your birds are. That's what we did, and we didn't do a good job of it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Barb,
Good to
I'm going to be
know.
taking
Thanks
one
for
of
that.
those this year, courtesy of Ryan, because I told him I need to do it so we can move along faster, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to suck it up because he's the one who gets all the trauma on the homestead, and that's not fair. I will say this though, the one thing that I would not be able to do is the piglets.
Mm.
And that one last year just shook me to the core.
Mm-hmm.
Still struggle with that one, but it was, had to be.
Hubby
But
has
meat
to bury
animals
all
I
the
can do.
cats and chickens that die around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However,
But
that
no.
area is very, very fertilized.
Yeah.
That's what I refer to as the wild garden. That's where 4 of the chickens were buried, right there.
They
David
say
Gray
that's
had
very
a
good.
question
Do
for
I need
you
garden
too.
seed? Oh no, I'm pretty good with that. I have quite a bit of seed, and everything I needed for seed this year, I did Indiana Backyard Gardener's seed swap. I sent in 6 packages of 10 seeds each, but I only was required to do 3. But I went ahead and did double that, just to make up for somebody else's or whatever, so somebody could get extra.
Mm-hmm.
And she's supposed to fill the entire wish list of 10 items. So,
Oh, I thought she was gonna fulfill like the top, like your top 3.
I think so. I mean, yeah,
I did
I
that
guess.
too.
I don't know. I think
think
she's going to go above that. I don't know
bet
if she'll
she
do all
does.
10, but if she has it, I think she's going to send some.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I were her, I wouldn't send like a whole package of the seed. I would send, because like sometimes people send me seed and they send me a seed thing that has 50 or 100 seeds. And I'm like, what am I going to do with all that? I have a small space. I can only, like somebody sent me butternut squash, acorn squash, and both of the packets were just stuffed full. So last night I sat down and I had some little tiny plastic seed packets, and I put 10 or 12 seeds in each one of those, and I made a little tag that says honeydew melon or whatever that she sent me a lot of, so that I could turn around and give that seed away. Thank you for offering though, David. That's really sweet. I pretty much have everything that I need. The basic things. I thought of something the other day that I wanted, but I can't remember what that was. Yeah, I can't remember now, but yeah, I have a lot of seed.
Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. Good to see you all in Barb's country home and living a rogue life. Thank you all for joining us.
Hi, Carla. A lot of people sent me seeds in my Christmas cards. And Simply Jan Homestead sent me a whole thing of seed. And, like I said, I just turned around and reseeded that into smaller increments so I can get that seed away. So that's my plan.
Yeah.
I noticed some of the things on your wish list I actually have, Tammy. So if you don't get those from the seed swap, let me know.
I will.
I actually thought about sending you red okra because I have some of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never grown okra. My husband's aunt used to grow she grew okra, and it just went wild. And I love fried okra. I love okra in stews. I love okra. I would love to grow that. And getting it frozen is just not the same. And it's so hard to find at the grocery store. It's not something that they always have.
Yeah, my husband loves fried okra.
Awesome.
I watched the video. Somebody this morning was, instead of doing fried green tomatoes, they were doing fried green tomatillos.
Nice.
Taking it, which they are pretty much a green tomato. So which I do plan to grow that this year. So hopefully, I'm hoping to have a good year for peppers. I actually I'm going to mix the bone blood meal in with my soil and maybe some cow manure, and I'm going to try to hopefully get some peppers this year. Here's hoping.
What kind of peppers are you growing?
I have Santa Fe peppers, Peter peppers, jalapeno peppers, some kind of tangerine sweet mild, Mugula. Mugla. I've never heard of it, but somebody sent me some Baker's Creek seeds of that. So I just am going to have like a whole pepper bed. And each corner is going to have different peppers. And there's just going to be a little bit of flowers in the middle to draw. But yeah.
What else are you growing this year?
I'm going to grow what I plan to grow. I'm going to grow 4 different kinds of squash, lots of flowers for pollinators. I'm going to grow honeydew melons and cantaloupes. I'm going to try sugar baby watermelon and sugar baby pumpkins somebody sent me, and lots of different varieties of tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But I already planted cilantro, sage, lettuce, marigolds, oregano, thyme, parsley, and lemon balm. But I
Awesome.
have extra seed of all that. So anything that doesn't come up, I could just reseed right back in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a few things under the grow light. So let's see.
Exciting. What zone are you there in Texas?
8A. It showed my last frost date as April 1st.
Huh.
But it was actually the right time to plant lettuce and bunching beans.
Mm-hmm.
So I was right on that. Some of the other stuff, I said is road planting, which you're just throwing it. Oh, a loofah. I'm going to do loofah and cucumbers. I have a climbing wall over. I have one whole section for climbing. All these things my husband have made, to grow them. So I'm hoping for a good year with loofah, and then I want to pickle the pickling cucumbers into bread and butter pickles, maybe even dill. We'll see how many I get.
Did you plant your loofah yet?
No. Is it supposed to be planted?
Well, you're in a much different zone than I am, but I know for me, I got, I don't know, about that big at the end of the season, but you'll have the heat and humidity. But I know I started mine in the way Rochelle at Brampton Gardener told me, and that was in a baggie with the paper towel, wet paper towel. And then once they start, you put them in the dirt. And I have them in the dirt, and I have about...
I thought about putting some under the grow light.
Yeah, I have them under the grow light because I have to, because they have to be as mature as possible when they go out. Mm-hmm. Last year I did end of March, so this year I did February for them.
Yeah, I have the area ready. It's soil from last year, but I'm going to kind of turn it around, and then I'm going to add a bunch of good stuff to it and put a nice layer of topsoil. I'm actually going to try to grow them in big totes.
Yep.
And really big totes. And I have them all lined up, totes, and then I have one barrel type thing, and then I have a couple of tires down at the end that I'm going to grow some vining flowers in. But I put those to go toward that way because I know everything's going to go crazy. But it should be a whole vining mess going on there if it all goes right.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. Teresa Ellis said the dollar store marigolds. Yeah. Marigolds are the only thing I grow, and I know you're probably like, what? But the reason why is they're drought tolerant, and I just buy the cheap ones, or if people send them to me, and you can't kill them. You can't kill them. And, to raise the grow lights up. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, they're already coming up in my pots and under the grow light. So I have. I want to make sure to have lots of marigolds because they said if you put them around the border of your yard, it'll keep out a lot of the bad bugs. So I'm going to give that a try. I see your grow light.
Yeah, I wanted to see if Milk and Honey Heritage could see. So that's one of those plastic folding banquet tables. And on the ends, Ryan took a pallet apart and put the 2 squares on either side. And then we just put our grow lights like hanging on boards over it on hooks. But and we have hooks on them, but it works. I mean, we could raise them if we need to. But germination has not been good this year, aside from the loofah.
I had 8 out of 12 tomatoes germinate under there. They were just regular beefsteak tomatoes.
Nice. Eskimo white marigolds. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Fancy gear grinding.
Look at that.
I got them run-of-the-mill ones because the deer won't eat them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got a couple of different.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear about that.
Oh, Gwen, I hope she's okay.
Dang it.
Oh, sending prayers. Poor thing. Poor Belle.
Mhm.
I had one of my baby chicks got pushed into the water bowl the first day, and so hubby's got it raised up on a brick now. But
Mhm.
it looked like to me it looked like she was ceasing. So I was
Mhm.
like calling in a panic. I was trying to call Simply Jan Homestead. She didn't answer. And then
Mhm.
I called Luann with Blackberry Rock Homestead. She answered the phone. She said, "Okay, the chick is just cold. Just get something and hold it like a little baby in the warmth." And so that's what it was. But in the
Mhm.
panic of trying to help the chick, I was freaking out going, "Is this chick ceasing? What do I need to do here?" And she's like, just hold it like a baby. It's just cold. Because I didn't have the grow light set up because hubby does it a certain way. So I was waiting just a few hours for him to get home to do
Mhm.
that. And anyway, I guess I should have got in there and tried to do it myself, but he usually has a certain way he does it. So I just I didn't
Yeah.
want to take that part away from him. But yeah, anyway, she turned out being okay. She's fine, but
Good.
Aw.
Yeah, it's
looked to me like she was ceasing, and I was starting to panic. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
she's gonna die."
yeah. Um
This is interesting. White marigolds are supposed to be better at attracting bees.
fascinating.
I hadn't heard that. I've heard of people growing like moonlight gardens where they plant a bunch of white plants in a certain area, maybe with a bench if you want to go out and sit out there at night, and because all the flowers are white.
Moonflowers. I'm growing some moonflowers this year.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me some moonflowers. They made a video asking if people wanted moonflowers. And I was like, I would love some moonflowers. And so they sent it. That's going to be in my little vining section. I'm going to have some moonflowers. And they're supposed to bloom at night.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. It's like a marigold, but
Thanks,
bigger,
Barb.
the size
Bye,
of your
Barb.
hand. The flower.
Mm-hmm. So
Beautiful.
fun. You said you were growing some different kinds of flowers. I know marigolds are one of them. What are the other flowers that you're growing?
Uh, Bachelor button, zinnia,
Mm-hmm.
she daisy, uh, Susan. No, it's black-eyed Susan.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are mixes people sent me. You Grow Rose sent me some chocolate sunflowers. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to try to plant all of the flowers I have that
Mm-hmm.
people sent me. I'm going to try to plant them all out because I think it'll bring the pollinators. That'll be good for my squash and my gourds and my tomatoes. So I'm going to try. We'll see.
Awesome.
I have a lot of pots, so I think I might be able to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd
I'll
be
keep
cool.
going as long as I have soil and pots.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. No kidding. Tammy, did I send you sunflowers?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gail, if I find more sunflowers, I'm going to send them to you because the deer eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It
can
just
see
doesn't
that.
matter what I do. I've got everything has to be fenced in, or that's it. They eat them.
Yeah, I used to grow them with my vegetables, but I noticed they attracted some bad bugs. So
Mhm.
now I plant them more on the outside, and they also take over the space too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let them grow. Matter of fact, I have something coming up over here in the tomato bed, and I'm gonna have to see if that's sunflowers, because if it is, I'm pulling them up. I planted the sunflowers where I wanted them to grow. I don't want them to grow in my beds with my vegetables because, like I said, they draw some kind of weird bugs.
Huh.
So I'm not. I try to grow them a little separate.
Good luck, Gwen. Take care. Be
Yeah.
safe.
Good luck.
Yeah, everything has to be fenced in here for it
Mm-hmm.
to grow, or the chickens or the deer will eat it. So I'm just not wasting my time anymore because I would rather grow. If I'm going to fence something in, I'd rather put food in it if
Yeah.
I can.
Well, if you're going to pick only one flower to grow, marigold would be the one I would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Definitely.
I have tons of marigold. I'm trying to grow echinacea
Mm-hmm.
because I want them.
Yep.
Calendula I grew last year. I had for soap, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm growing other flowers, but I'm trying to be real purposeful
Mm-hmm.
in what I'm growing. I planted a bunch of marigolds last year in calendula, and I'm just going to throw them in between I have zinnias I'm going to throw in between the plants too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
zinnias
had beautiful sunflowers. I was so excited. Took a piece of
Aw.
hardware cloth,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you get busy in the summertime. And so the
Mm-hmm.
thing got above the hardware cloth because it was a piece I had. And as soon as it was ready to bloom, the rotten deer came and ate the blooms off of it.
Oh, before they even had a chance to produce any like sunflower
I know it.
seeds. Bummer.
Rotten.
I planted some like on the fence line in different areas that had just a little bit of soil, where they wouldn't be in the path of where hubby mows in the yard.
Yep.
So it's on the outside. So hopefully I can. And finally I figured out why my pots have holes in them. My husband is hitting it with the weed eater.
Oh
And I'm like, you owe me like 10 pots because I did not know. I happened to be out there when he was working in the yard. Oops.
Mhm.
I'm like, what do you mean, oops? Oops, I hit your pot with a weed eater. What?
Mhm.
And it was a good pot. It was like one of those thicker plastic type.
Oh no.
Yeah. He owes me some pots.
That's right. Hey, Carla, I will send you some marigolds. I'll message you on Insta later because I have a bunch of marigolds and they're just getting older sitting here because I can't use them all.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of y'all put some black old sunflower seeds in your chicken feed?
I don't, but I sometimes grow fodder with it.
Those sunflowers that you feed them will actually grow, and when they come up, they're not just one stalk. They do this.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like a huge.
Very cool.
And it has multiple. So I actually planted some. I actually saved some in a Ziploc bag from last time, and I just plant some of those in different areas of the yard. But yeah, they're like, why do yours have all these branches? I'm like, because they're the kind you feed chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Nisi said it's because he's a brat. LOL. Yeah, you're welcome, Carla. I'm gonna look today for sunflower and marigolds, and I will get them out to Gail, and I'll message you, Carla. Because I have so many here, and then I saved the seeds from them again. So
I'm going to be growing a lot of marigolds. I'm hoping to get some nasturtiums. I wanted to grow some of those also. Some borage and lavender. We have lavender that's growing here already. And oh my gosh, have you guys ever had lavender chocolate?
No.
It is so good. And oh my gosh, when it is in bloom and everything's rolling, I'm going to be doing some things with lavender because I've made lavender lemonade. Basically lavender chocolate. It's like you use the white chocolate and you infuse it so that it has a lavender taste to it. Oh my goodness.
Try that.
And the lavender that we have growing here smells so sweet. It's just amazing. There's different kinds of lavender. So
what kind of soil does lavender like? Do you know?
No, I don't.
I
don't. I harvested some seeds from the lavender that's growing here, and I'm hoping that I can get it to propagate and do well in other places.
Yeah, someone sent me seed last year. I don't know who. I try to write on the package like who sent me the seed, and then I try to put their name on the tag or mention them in the video. If it's like seed from Garden State Gardener or You Grow or Melody May, different Jan, Blackberry Rock Homestead. I've got a lot of different.
Thanks for coming, Art.
A lot of different seeds.
Indiana Backyard Gardeners here. Adrian, do you know how to grow lavender? Do you know what soil that grows best in? Oh, Milk and Honey might know also. They have a 60-foot.
He's going to be on my live on Sunday, so I'm going to have a list of some gardening questions I want to ask him.
Did you see Teresa Ellis? Comes back in Indiana winter. I do nothing to it.
Yeah, once you get it established, it's pretty good.
Mhm.
Have it in a small raised bed,
Mhm.
and hoping if it comes up, I can just let it, because you said it comes back, right? It
Yeah.
can just stay and take
Yeah.
over that little area there. So
Mhm. Yep, it's a perennial. I'm going to be growing a bunch of herbs this year too. I'm starting with all of my pain herbs that I use for pain oil. So that's comfrey, Solomon's seal, arnica, St. John's wort. Those are like your 4 best herbs for pain for topical use.
I had
And
something about 2 years ago, but it didn't come up for me.
you planted what?
I planted comfrey about 2 years ago. I
And it
think it
didn't
was,
come up?
what was her name? She hasn't been around for a while. But anyway, Amy, she sent me some comfrey. Yeah, it didn't come up for me. I don't know. I don't know. Some things grow great in Texas and other things don't. Like people up north have trouble with zucchini. Zucchini grows like tomatoes that grow everywhere else. Just zucchini and tomatoes grow great here.
So, in other words, Adrian, it sounds like I need to go and plant some lavender like outside and just let it
In a
come up
win-
when it's ready.
in a winter jug, like all those jugs I have outside that are still sitting there
Oh,
covered in snow.
yeah.
Perfect, because my lavender's already planted.
Yeah.
That
Mhm,
was part of the road planning I did.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think the next thing I'm going to do is I was trying to decide to work on getting the tomato bed ready or the zucchini bed ready. And I noticed that the tomatoes take longer than the zucchini,
Mhm.
in terms of the point of harvesting. So
Yeah.
I decided I'm going to start working on tomato bed first. And as soon as that low is a certain temperature at night, I'm going to go ahead and plant them.
Mhm.
But I
Cool.
want to get that bed ready next.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't put anything out in the ground probably till first week in June.
Mhm.
So that's the hard part is keeping
It
mature
is.
plants alive in the house.
And then
So,
they get bigger, and then they
Yeah.
take up more space. And
Yeah. We'll see.
I carried mine in and out, in and out.
the easiest transplant for me was tomatoes. Let's see, what'd she say?
She wants to make lavender chocolate.
Lavender chocolate. Oh yeah, if I get some.
Mhm.
I actually have some. Do you use white chocolate like the baking chocolate chunks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have some of that left from Christmas that I didn't use.
Doesn't like a whole lot of water. That's good to
Not a
know.
lot of
Does it take over the bed like mint does? Because you said it's in the mint family. Does it take over?
Grows good with sage.
I need more
In
garden.
the bed that we have it in, so whoever lived here before and planted this stuff, there's like a long bed, I don't know, probably like 20 feet long and maybe 1 foot wide. So not maybe 2 foot wide, not real wide this ways, but it's not taken over that bed. I can speak to that. It seems to be growing in its little area. And then she has other things back there, including lamb's ear, yarrow. I spotted somebody knew their medicinal herbs for what she was choosing to grow back there.
Good.
I have
Anything
yarrow
I
in
pull
my
up,
yard.
I'm like, what is this? If I don't know what it is, it's of no use to me. So if I
I
can
just make
figure
a video. If I don't know what it is, I make a video and then somebody will answer what is it. So that's how I found out that I have yarrow growing in my yard and henbit. What was the other thing? I did a video one time because I had this yellow stuff on my right near my plant, and I was like, "What is that?" So I did a video. Turns out it's called dog vomit slime mold, but there's a technical name for it. But that name for it is way more fun. But it happens when you grow your plants and you put wood chips around them to keep the weeds out and stuff. Well, that year I had done that. And so now I'm going to use that again this year. So if it happens again, I'll be able to say, okay, that's what that is. Because now I have.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I learn. I ask questions. I'm not an expert, but I just ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then I'll remember the answer and I'll get smarter
Yeah,
each
that's how I
time
found
I
out
ask a
about my
question.
daffodils. I had yellow flowers popping up. The first flowers we saw in northern Arizona were always dandelions. Those were the first to come out in spring. But here, apparently, it's daffodils. And they're
That blew my
beautiful.
mind. But then again, it makes sense because you were in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
whereas we're used to being in New England and North Carolina, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm
They
trying
have
to remember what
daffodils.
I grew when I lived in New England because I know I grew flowers, but I don't think I grew any vegetables. But I know I was growing something because I remember one time I was out there hoeing the yard and a grass snake started coming in. I was just like freaking out.
you
Yeah,
could
I've
grow
never seen
anything
a.
in New England.
Huh?
You could just toss the seeds out there, not
Mhm.
even water them, and the land is so fertile. They do amazing.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
That
never saw a daffodil in my life, Lisa. I had no clue what that was.
Well, Katie had said the same thing, and I on
She told me
Instagram.
she posted something on Instagram. She didn't know that I did my video. She's like, "Hey, I just did the same thing on Instagram.
It was so cute. I was like, wow, they've really never seen daffodils.
We
They're
never
so
seen them.
beautiful.
They
I'll
are.
have to watch that video because I'm curious. The sea. I'm trying to remember which one's
Short.
yellow and which
It
one's
was a
white.
short.
It's a bulb. They come up before tulips.
Mhm. Yeah, they're so beautiful.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So usually you get
Yes,
crocuses, then you get daffodils, and then you get tulips.
Mhm.
yeah. I've been wanting to grow irises for a long time, but I just can't manage to get them up. So I don't know if there's something particular about our Texas soil it doesn't like.
Hey, in your garden beds, how do you prep your garden beds? I'm always interested to hear how people manage their garden beds from one season to the next.
Well, I had the really bad hail and I
Mhm.
got really upset and I just kind of stopped watering and I didn't even really want to go out in the backyard. It was like a major big moment for me. It
Yeah.
really upset me.
Mhm.
So I started prepping my beds like August, September, because
Mhm.
remember I was done with it. But I'm not going to give up this
Mhm.
year. I'm not going to give up this year at all. So I'm just going to keep throwing the seed in there until something pops up. Okay, so anyway, I started in August. I've done eggshells. Of course, eggshells take about 3 years before they break down, 3, 4 years. But
Good to
but
know.
why not prep that far ahead of time? I do coffee filters with the coffee in it. I shred paper that doesn't have plastic in it.
Mhm.
Um, I put I can, in the fall, I can kind of do some of the kitchen scrap type stuff, but I can't do that close to planting time because it's huge amounts of fire ants here in Texas. So I have to be careful with that. And then I use chicken manure, in the fall and let it sit there
Mhm.
however long it's supposed to. And of course, when we clean out the coops, it'll have the straw in there too.
Uh-huh.
So, and then I put leaves and then hubby tills it up into there, and then
Mhm.
when it's time to plant, I put a nice layer of topsoil on top of it and kind of mix in bone meal, or if I have some some cow manure,
Yeah.
which
Uh-huh.
I do have that this year. So that's how I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to put topsoil, bone meal, blood meal, and cow manure. That's how I'm going to mix up my soil for this year.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, we've had trouble getting compost because the compost.
It's hard in areas like yours in
Yeah,
northern Arizona. It is
and
so dry. Every
yeah,
time I tried to make compost, and water, like we were on hauled water. Like I really want to use my hauled water to water compost? And it's just so, the humidity
that's
is like 7% humidity.
that's the thing is I already have to use, in the summertime, we're using tons of water, the animals, because we have a ton of animals here. We have to water gardens and we don't get rain. So do I want to waste water on a compost?
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that I've had really good luck with, it's not for the garden, but I take the bedding all winter long and throw it out into the pasture to fill in holes. Like, so I've got really uneven ground in one of those pastures.
Yeah.
In the past almost 3 years, I have been dumping bedding, hay, everything in that one hole. The snow soaks in and it actually is getting harder. So I'm building up the dirt. And the only reason I can do that is because we have the parasite load kill off because of the cold. If I was in Texas, I couldn't do that because I'd be inviting parasites.
Yeah.
But it works pretty well.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Hubby got a big thick plastic bin. He got 2 of them. So one of them I have, I did not use it this year, but I'm putting leaves, chicken bedding. And then when I'm done composting the soil, every day I'll take out a thing that'll have the coffee filters and banana peels, different things. And I'll keep throwing that in there. And in about, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do water mine, but I just water it when I'm watering the other things. I'll just water it. Probably not enough, and it probably needs to be rotated, but once it gets to the top, I'm going to start using it. But eventually that's going to be some really good compost there. But I don't know how long it's going to take to break down.
So Milk and Honey, I had like a box, and I had actually a piece of wood, like just a thin piece of wood I would put over the top of it. I don't know. I guess in theory, it seems like, oh, you can overcome that. You can put in, more wet vegetables, more green stuff. In theory, you could do it. And I think somebody who has been successful with that is Nick over at,
he constantly tends to it.
But it is so, for me anyways, it felt so time intensive. Maybe not necessarily labor, because it's not like I was, out there breaking a sweat trying to work on my compost.
Yeah,
but it was so
I'm not turning mine. I will admit I'm not turning it. I'm just adding to it. And
I just gave up. This isn't going to happen here.
Hey, Carlene, we have a tumbler, and we have another one that is not a tumbler. It was the one like a lot of towns gave out. That's hexagonal one, and so we've got that one. So they're both covered. Bye, Vineyard Chicks. They're both covered.
Bye, girls.
But they dry out pretty quick. Hey, 12 stones.
Are you supposed to cover your compost
when it's dry out? Yeah,
these are bins, so they naturally have covers on them.
Like where you're at, maybe not, but where I was, if you want to have any luck. Hey, Carlene, good to see you. The thought is cover it so that you don't lose as much moisture because of it being so dry. And I would start it one year, it would be a fail. And I'd be like, I'll try it again next year. I'm not fooling with this, because then you're kind of into the spring season of tending to your garden. And here's the compost bin that's an utter disappointment. That was how it was for me, and I'd be like, next year. Well, next year I failed too.
Rochelle said we just dump stuff in a big pile and hope for the best. Well, I have piles all over the place because
we have a natural compost too, where we raked up a bunch of leaves. We actually have some limbs over there. Once in a while, I walk through and break some of them down occasionally, and also the chickens. They scratch there, and of course they leave their manure there as well. So that is another one that's like 3-4 years in the mix, but eventually that area right there will be a good compost too. So I actually have 2 compost areas, but they're, like I say, the 4 or 5 year plan.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll have some really good compost.
Well, the funniest thing is that we have a huge pile in the back, and it's not intentionally a compost pile, but it would be.
Yeah.
Because what we do is the chicken coop is just way too much to put in the bins we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like today when I clean it out, it's all going to go down in the back of the property. And then the deer pick through it and the turkeys, and they eat whatever feed they can find.
Mm-hmm.
They leave their droppings.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Look at this. She put sticks on the bottom and they're composted in 5 weeks. And this is what she has in there.
I put them on. I put sticks on. Like if I'm making up a pot to plant in, I put sticks on the very bottom. Then I put a layer of leaves, and then I put my soil that I'm going to put because it'll eventually break down.
Yeah.
Teresa Ellis said we got compost from the city once. It was pretty rough. That's why I can't get the compost from the city, because they had some issues with it and I don't want to bring it in. And the other thing with cow manure, and I can't remember the darn thing, I keep having that problem. There's something in cow manure that stays in the soil for a while and it kills your plants. So you have to be really careful where you get your cow manure from.
Interesting.
Gail, if I find it, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, I did buy some from a local. I just bought one bag from our local place over here. I don't know.
We are at the top of the hour. Does anybody have any questions for Gail or any of us up on the panel?
I'm trying to look for the name of that.
Gail, real quick, do you want to share out anything that's coming up or going on with your channels?
I have the open collaboration hashtag Bless My Garden 23 that will be coming out April 1st, and it's basically you're gonna either sit somewhere in your garden and pray for it, or you're gonna make a video of you walking around and praying for your garden. So it's just to talk to people about the fact that, you know, because I had a really bad gardening year. To talk to people about the success of your garden is from God. You know, God created everything, so let's put it in His hands and let all the bad weather go around your yard and your yard to stay nice and bountiful and healthy for, you know, for your family.
I love that.
And then I'm also going to do the weird container growing 23. I'm going to do that to be my 3rd year on that. And then later on in the summer, like around August, I'll be putting out the video for Fall Fest 23 giveaway. So I have those 3 collaborations coming up. 2 will be in April and 1 will be starting in August sometime. So
awesome.
That's what I have going on.
Awesome.
I love that. How about you, Lisa?
What do I have going on? I need to get back in the swing of the Homesteading Academy. I kind of got out of the swing over the holidays with that. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It kind of depends on where the well goes.
Yep.
Because if I have to drill a new well this year, which is what Ryan is planning on doing now, the barn and the greenhouse are going to have to wait. So depends on what we got going on, but we'll be doing gardening. I've got seeds started, and also trying to think what else. You know, the usual.
The usual.
The usual. Yeah,
People with the house and the yard and the YouTube channel and the husband and the kids and the family and the friends and the church and the.
Do either of you know about pruning plum trees?
I don't have any fruit trees.
No, but I would suggest.
I'm
going to suggest Gear Guide 19 because he always does a lot of gardening, or Abundant Acres Homestead because they just did their fruit trees. So they might be a good resource for you.
Yeah, I thought they pruned them in the winter, but when they're dormant.
I did too. Or right or early spring.
I've watched, but I don't have personal experience.
So I was looking this up because we do have a plum tree on the property, and I've never had plum trees before, Carlene. So I'm learning right along with you. But I read exactly what Gail just said, and that is you want to do it early spring. So we are right on time. My husband and I were even thinking about with our plum tree, like Maybe we should just let it go. Our plum tree has blossoms all over the place. Are you seeing blossoms on yours? We have tons of blossoms on it. And we're worried about pruning it, and then it's obviously no longer dormant because of the blossoms. So we're kind of thinking, maybe we ought to just wait till fall when all of the life of it goes back to its roots, and prune it then. So that's what our plan is, based on what I've read so far. Anyway, I think maybe we're a little behind. This is what's going on. But with the blossoms, I don't think that I should touch it. So if you have those, look closely, because maybe we shouldn't be messing with those.
I would like to ask for some for Mother's Day this year, but I think most of them you're supposed to get in twos. So I'm going to tell hubby that I need 2 of whatever it is you pick out.
So the lemon pecan bread was amazing, and it is gone. The family ate it.
Well, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. So half of my seed was in a box in the utility room, and the other half of my seed, the seeds that people sent me this year, were in a box inside the house. Well, the seeds that were out in the utility room actually got eaten by mice.
Oh, bummer.
So I did lose some seed this year, but I have replaced part of it, and I'm getting part of it back in the seed swap. And Simply Jan Homestead sent me a goodie bag of seeds. So I would say pretty good.
A good share on that plum tree. Prune before the blooms.
Who knew that mice actually eat seeds?
Oh,
right? Oh, they'll eat.
They will in Connecticut. If we went into like a dresser we didn't use all the time. Hey, Tom. If we went in a dresser we didn't use all the time. So, for example, Ryan had a nightstand, but he never went in the bottom drawer a lot. And the mice would bring in thistle seed. So that's the name of the chemical. It's aminopyrrolate. It's an herbicide that they spray fields with and hay, and it's passed into the cow manure, and it can kill your gardens.
Wow. Good to know.
It's all I had about 5 or 6 varieties of tomatoes. That's part of what was eaten, and all my home saved seeds. They were my seeds from the year before. So the only thing I have is the new seed that was sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that's a good thing because you're cleaned up now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was a few that were salvageable in there, and they ate up my lettuce seeds, but I replaced that. So, yeah. But that did happen. That happened to me. I'm determined. This gardening year is not going to get me.
No.
I'm going to conquer it.
That's
right. You are.
That's right. And you're blessing your garden. How can you?
Blessing my garden. So it's in God's hands now, not my own.
That's right. All right. So we are a little over 1. And I saw some comments about wishing it was 2 hours long. And thank you all for that. I'm glad you guys enjoy the live. Appreciate you all for watching. I hope everybody has a blessed week. And thank you all for coming by. It's been fun. We'll see you. Oh, I got to share. Okay. So next week, we're going to be taking that week off. It's my husband's birthday week. So there won't be a live next week, but we'll be back the following week on Tuesday at noon on this channel with Rich Cat Ranch. So we will see
you in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So we'll see you all then. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Keep your joy, folks. See you in the next one.
Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye.